Moo. What's up, cows? It's your favorite vamp cow back at it again with another React Andy. This time, we're watching our favorite lol YouTuber, Rev, talk about a progressive YouTuber, Vex, MLK. I can tell you, this is just some annoying woman that's chronically online. I have a disdain for people that constantly, like, tweet out things, and I constantly see their shit on my timeline. Like, it's fine if you're making a video, like a short form video, you're making art, you're posting sketches, but if I just see you constantly appearing on my Twitter timeline, just posting, like, you know, text after text after text, like as if you have nothing better to do in your day, like that's the only thing you want to do in your day, you're annoying, you need to get off the internet. You need to do something else. I swear to you, I see this woman, like, post... I saw at one point that she had, like, I would be doom scrolling on Twitter for, like, 2 or 3 hours, and she'd come up across my face, like, 5 or 6 times in, well, those 3 hours. Which is a lot. Because it'd be a different tweet each time. So, I can tell you, I either have this person muted or I have them blocked. Fact is, they're annoying. And you should not regard their opinion in any respectful manner because they're just chronically online. They don't touch grass. They have no idea what the real world feels like. But let's see what they did. Let's see what Rev's gonna say about them.
It's Rev here. So in this video, I'll be talking about a pretty funny situation involving a VTuber named Vex. We have briefly talked about this individual before. They are quite unhinged. A lot of the stuff they do on social media is very aggressive and hypocritical, and we're seeing that happen.
Unsurprising from a woman.
And yet again, after they made this self-described, nuanced post about men, saying the only men who get offended when someone says all men are the men we're talking about, by the way.
All women aren't victims. You see, if you got offended by that, you know, obviously you're part of the problem. You see how easy it is to be hypocritical?
So we'll get into the rhetorical fallacy here and how this VTuber gets very upset when people take their logic and extend it to other intrinsic traits to make a generalized blanket statement about them. But
all women are ethos. It's really that easy. All women are stupid. Are you upset by that? Well, maybe you're just part of the stupid women then. No, you're just stupid. We're just using your own argument against you.
But of course, they're going to play the victim. They essentially pick a fight against an entire gender, and when their logic starts to fall apart...
That's one happy dog, even though he destroyed everything. How do you even do that? How do you destroy a pot like that, and you just have the soil all over the floor? How does a dog do that? And he doesn't even have any dirt on them. You can't even see anything.
And they start looking unhinged. They make it a big cry fest for themselves while telling people to choke.
Free block list in the replies. Absolutely, a free block list for all the idiots that support you, too.
And saying everyone is racist. Now, this individual, like I said, is pretty unhinged. They have a history of saying some pretty heinous stuff, including this all-time classic from January of this year, saying F you, F ice, F
oh yeah, God. I remember this.
F your mother for birthing you, F your father for not dumping you in a sock. Your mom should have used a coat hanger, you effing troglodyte. F off and go beat your D to your sister.
You see, she says this, and then she says this, but then if you say the same thing back, then she'll be deeply offended. People only say shit like this because they want to deem you as an acceptable target of violence. That is exactly why she's saying this to whoever this broke, blaggy, Ivy DC account is. It's because they're saying all this because these are like buzzwords to make someone else an acceptable target for violence.
Now that last part is very strange. I don't know why this person is thinking of something like that, let alone...
Probably because that's what they like to do. I mean, they don't have a penis, but I'm sure they like to beat themselves to their sister. Maybe even their brother. I don't know. Judging by you know how they talk here, I doubt they're straight because I don't think any man would ever want to touch that pussy. Any right thinking man, but there sure are a lot of men that are a bit too down bad when it comes to puss.
Alone encouraging someone to do that, very strange. But you can see overall they're a pretty heinous individual when it comes to the posts they make on Twitter. Now, a few days after that, they tried to change.
Yeah, and this is the kind of person Mike Tyson would say, you got too comfortable saying shit that would get you punched in real life.
Their ways. They made this long-winded post saying they're going to do better and they're going to stop being so hostile towards people online.
Yeah. Right. I'll do a better job of managing my own sanity and having you muted and blocked so I don't have to see you on my timeline ever again.
Well, that didn't last very long. Within the next couple of weeks, there was a spurg out here where she started replying to a bunch of different people in a very short period of time, not with words, but instead with memes and pictures where she wants people to be put in their grave.
A online whore. Talk about predators, this and that. When you're the one selling your loots to anyone online, you're not a good prostitute as a prostitute should be. They deserve to shut the fuck up. God damn, that's oh. Prove someone has no arguments to give when they resort to curses, by the way. Yeah, when someone just curses you out, they really have zero argument. Their argument is just, I am lay mad, listen to me being lay mad.
She wants people to go missing. She also wants to go...
It's incredible that she has all these different, like, meme pictures, and I bet you she doesn't make any YouTube videos. She uses none of these. She just basically scrounges these up just to like, reply to people, to be like, I got ya! I got ya! Yeah, well, I have a meme that's perfect for this situation. Congratulations. I bet you have like 300 GIFs on Discord too. And anytime anyone says anything, you have the perfect one to react to because you're too retarded to actually formulate a coherent response back. So you just use an image that moves to try and prove your point or to correlate your point, to say what you're thinking because you're too lazy to say what you're thinking.
Go get a gun in response to someone criticizing her, and also said people better relax or she'll fold you while your clothes are still on, and also silence hetero, which, you know, that sort of slop we see all the time. And of course, when they are confronted with this bloodthirsty set of rhetoric, she says they're just memes. I mean...
Memes are death threats? Alright, buddy. That's quite strange, because literally... some guy says you're not a good prostitute, and then you just say, urge to put this guy in his place. Grave. It's just a prank, bro. Why are you taking it so serious? Yeah, would you tell this to some guy in real life? Come on, Vex. Go ahead. Tell a guy in real life that you'd be interested in, like, putting him in the grave. Do that at a bar. If you can do that, if you can prove that you've done that at a bar. To multiple guys. Then I'll believe you that it's just a joke. Because, hey, if it's all just a joke, then every guy would take it as a joke, right? I mean, they wouldn't do anything if you said this to their face, right?
The intellectual dishonesty is pretty profound. I guess if you send something in a meme format, you can't be accountable for what the message is saying. Ridiculous. But their hatred knows no bounds. They hate white people. Despite being one, and as I always say, being a self-hating white person is very sad.
Oh yeah, they made that tweet, you can't be racist against white people. This is just a firm belief that a lot of left-leaning people believe, because they're just genuinely retarded. Racism is discrimination against anybody based upon the color of their skin or how they look. Quite literally, their race. That is just racism. If you say, oh, there's a whitey coming in, careful now, I bet you he's gonna want to have a big order, that's a racism. Now let's reverse it. Oh, there's a darky coming in, he's gonna have a big order. Oh, I can't wait for this. You see, does that sound bad? Does that sound bad? That's right, it sounds bad, because it should sound bad both ways. Because it's equally racist.
They have been completely indoctrinated by all this nonsense to the...
Oh, look at this white guy with all these tattoos. Oh, look at this black guy with all his tattoos. It's the same sentence. It's literally, you're judging a book by its cover. I mean, you should judge a book by its cover, but you shouldn't judge a book by its cover based upon the fact of race itself. You're just a bad person.
Point of hating themselves for an intrinsic trait they had no choice over, but they also clarify that you can't be racist against white people. Now, for this person who makes self-described nuanced posts, I guess they should open up the definition of racism and point to where it says there's an exception for white people. I know, very bigoted of me to say this, but I don't think anybody should be treated poorly or differently because of the color of their skin and other intrinsic traits they have no control over. We should treat everyone the same. We shouldn't make exceptions to be abusive towards people based on what skin color they have. I know, very bigoted take from me, but of course they also don't like men, very clearly, saying they don't want to go out in public anymore because they hate men, which is also ironic for someone who...
Oh, that's so sad. All right, then. I hope one day that there is a female society you can move to, and we'll find out how long it lasts for.
Hates law enforcement so much. But also, they say men aren't lonely enough. They also say they want the confidence of mediocre white men, and when people have an issue with that...
You seem to have a lot of confidence already for a mediocre white woman, but go off, I guess.
They say, now that's what I call male fragility, which doesn't count because it's in a meme format, so don't get mad about that. It's in a meme format. Let me make that clear. It doesn't count. But of course, they weren't done after their history of clearly having an issue with men in a very general sense. They decided to come out with this, again, self-described nuanced post saying the only men who get offended when someone says all men.
It fills me with joy that nobody really interacts with this. Barely 500 likes, 48 retweets. I bet you at least 30. I bet you like 50 to 60% of those are just quote retweets. Because, yeah, 18 bookmarks. I think that says a lot. 65 comments. Yeah.
Are the men we're talking about?
Seems like you got a lot more people commenting that had something to say. Fun fact: whenever someone sees anything, basically an audience viewing anything, about 2 to 3% that view a tweet or view anything reply to it. So the fact that this has 20,000 views, 65 comments, and barely 500 likes, oof. Yeah, just take the L.
By the way. Now, of course, people in the replies will extend their logic into other categories of intrinsic traits and make generalized statements based on that, and Vex does not like when that happens, but this is a rhetorical fallacy that you should be aware of. It's called a Kafka trap. Okay, it's where you make a statement. You accuse someone or a group of people of something, and then if you deny that by the user's logic...
Yo, Kafka? Like the woman from the hit famous video game, Honkai Star Rail Impact 3rd?
You're now guilty of what they're saying. It's very, very disingenuous, and that's exactly what's happening here. And of course, if they're faced with generalized statements about other intrinsic traits, I guess they're not allowed to say anything about it, otherwise they're part of the problem by their own logic. And of course, that's exactly what happened, where one user said all blacks are violent, making a generalized stereotype statement. Extending.
You see how this statement can just be used. Get your racist out of here. Well, that's strange. Why you immediately countering that point? That's interesting. So sounds almost like you think no black people can be violent. Interesting.
The logic of X in this previous post, and clearly not understanding what's happening here, they reply saying, get your racist behind the F on somewhere else. And
of course she doesn't understand. This is just a white woman that got like a little famous on the internet, and now she has a gigantic ego. Maybe, just maybe, she has a college degree, but even then, no, college degrees aren't a sign of intelligence. They're just a sign of education. And there is a difference between being educated and being intelligent. You can have knowledge about the entire world. You can tell me where, like, Quebecistan is. You can tell me where Detroit is on the map easily. What else? What other country? You can tell me where Iran and Iraq is. Okay. What purpose does all that serve? Like, really? Oh, you can tell me all about this thing that happened through 200 years ago. I mean, that's cool if it's a hobby. What purpose does it actually serve in your day-to-day life, though? How does it help you out? How does it help you, like, change people's minds? Or, what's the word? inform people about being correct or incorrect about certain things. Yeah.
And she literally did the meme. She literally did the meme. This is a consistently viral screenshot that shows up all the time.
When I say gay men, all men, I mean all. Even George Floyd? What's wrong with you? Well, you just said all. And I mean all. And then bro says, okay, what about this guy? Well, no. Well, that's not all men then.
One user said, when I say end all men, I really mean all. And someone says, even George Floyd. And they go, literally, what is wrong with you? It happened again, ladies and gentlemen. But we can see a further description of their nuanced take, because one user would say, I always like the phrase, a hit dog hollers. And she says this, cosign.
A hit dog hollers? Yeah, when you run over a dog, of course it's going to start crying and yelp in pain. Are you stupid?
Finding that logic. Ooh. Now, of course, I know what
because statistically, it's certainty that women are unsafe around men. Hey, here's a fun fact. Did you know that there's like, I think it's around a 70% domestic violence rate with lesbian couples, and with gay couples, man on man, it's a 30% domestic violence rate.
People mean when they say a hit dog hollers. Think about that statement. People use it all the time. A dog hollers when it hits. You know, like when Kaya got shocked by Hassan, it yelps. You know, like when something bad happens, like getting hit, a person, or dog in this case, responds. What does that mean? But the way they use it is that if someone says something and you deny it, clearly you're guilty of whatever they're trying to say or accuse you of. And of course, I guess hit dogs holler when you have this.
You got cooked. No, I don't speak to racist garbage. I win by default. What is this copium? You're so pathetic.
Sort of response to someone using your own logic against you. And when this user says you got cooked, they say, no, I don't speak to racist pieces of garbage. I win by default.
Bro, you made a statement. It's not like you made a moist critical video saying that he gets his opinions from Reddit, and everyone just says that your video is ass because you just made that statement. That's like a completely different thing. It's not like you said Anthony Fantano just has like ass opinions, and then everyone just replies with "get ratioed" while no one is telling you what you actually got, how you got ratioed.
Default joke, which is a not so subtle way of telling this person to have their life ended, obviously. But of course, their logic makes no sense. I think a lot of their responses are very impulsive on social media. It's like they always want to have the final word on everything. They respond to everything, and this is what happens.
Well, yeah, because they're chronically online. Look at that blue check mark. Any form of interaction, they might just get enough money so that way they don't have to pay for their blue check mark the next month. You know, it's $9 a month. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money, especially when they have to like get their Uber Eats, their Grubhub. I don't know. I that's the only two food like delivery apps I can think of. But dude, $9 a month. Every penny counts.
You say I don't speak to racist pieces of garbage, so I guess these users are not racist by your own logic because you spoke to them. Like, you know what I mean? Like, again, just impulsive posts, make no sense. And of course, she'll be mad about that extension of her own logic because it's stupid. But yeah, that's precisely it. These statements are stupid, and people are just using your logic and your own words against you. And of course, if you don't want to talk to racists, maybe don't talk to yourself because you have this hatred of white people. You can't be racist against them, of course. Expected with virtue signalers like this. But of course...
No, but if she doesn't talk to herself, she won't get enough money to afford her blue checkmark the next month, Rev.
Of course, you can see another person trying desperately to clarify what's happening and why people...
Trying desperately? No, he just point out the obvious in mockery. Like, if someone has to tell you flatly how stupid you are, and you still don't get it, you're just subhuman at that point. Your intelligence is so low that you're not even considered a human in my eyes.
People are making fun of her, and why she's a hypocrite. This user says, he just used your own logic against you, and by your own logic, the fact that you got triggered means you're the problem he's talking about. The fact that this went over your head is the real problem here. And then Vex says, just say you're part of the problem, bro. You're the men we're talking about.
This is exactly how someone subhuman talks and thinks.
The Kafka trap. Okay, it's not just people disagreeing with a generalized statement or being caught up as part of the problem. It's even people questioning the foundational logic and how it's being applied in ways the original poster didn't want it to, which was a natural extension of their logic. Even doing that, even questioning the foundational logic behind all this, gets you labeled as part of the problem. It's insane. But we're not done. Another user, trying to clarify, saying, so it's okay to stereotype. Got it. And then she says, it's a generalization based on statistics.
Oh, statistics. 13%. 50%.
If you're part of the stereotype.
You know what? Actually, I want to know now. How about, how many lesbian couples are there? About 430,000. Interesting. What is the lesbian domestic violence rate per capita? I'll just say per capita, period. Approximately 44%. But that's... lesbian or gay individuals experience intimate partners at a rate of 10.3 per 1,000. Oh. Oh my. Oh no. Oh, so to statistics, huh? It's a mass generalization by statistics, huh? What is the gay domestic violence per capita? Lesbian or gay? No, I don't want to know lesbian or gay. I want to know lesbian. All right. Ooh, 26% of gay men, 44% of lesbian men. I mean, lesbian men, lesbian women. So, so going by Vex Milk standards here, if you're a lesbian, you're more likely to get forced twinkied by your partner. So theoretically, it is better to be a homosexual man instead of a homosexual woman. Therefore, nobody should be a homosexual woman because the rates are that bad. I'm just using her logic against her.
Then cry.
You know, I can even say that lesbian women are evil because 44% of them commit domestic violence against each other.
Come on. You don't see how this could be extended.
Where did the Sigma did he get like 70% from?
To other groups of people with
That's crazy though, isn't that? Lesbian couples, like nearly two times the amount of lesbian couples commit domestic violence against each other in comparison to gay men.
Intrinsic traits they didn't choose, right? Just making generalizations based on statistics, and if you have a problem with that, you're part of the problem. Do you not see?
All lesbians are violent.
That's how all of this began in the first place. Like, there is no self-awareness. The lights are on, but nobody's home. Terrible stuff. But then you can see people just pointing out, it's annoying when you generalize. I know you're not talking about me, but it's an obnoxious thing to say. And even someone saying,
oh my word, bro, don't give her the benefit of doubt.
Get you, but it's just annoying to generalize. It's not good enough.
This is exactly why I have this bitch, like, muted. If I don't have her blocked, do I have her blocked? Hold on, you know what? I don't even want her muted. I want her blocked. Very important. Don't have any, like, anything SFW come up. Alright, thank goodness. What is the name of it? Oh, you got a virus account too? I'm gonna block that. There we go. Yep. Yep. I don't even know what this is. This is your private account, also blocked. Goodbye. I don't know if that's actually yours or not, but goodbye.
Enough. So then she says, then hold the men we are talking about accountable. If it doesn't apply to you, you shouldn't be offended by a blanket statement about someone's gender. Well, yes, you should never be offended about a blanket statement regarding someone's gender. Again, keep that in mind, but someone tries to explain again. If it's okay to generalize men based on statistics, I have to assume you think the same of black people, which is really telling about your character. And she has no response other than saying LOL no. And then the other user says, they are both generalizations that you can make using statistics. And then her response is, bad people are bad people, pointing out...
Well, bad people are bad people. Again, 13%, 50%. So does that mean that pretty much all 13% are bad? No? Well, that's quite strange because you seem to believe otherwise. Why does race change anything? If statistics are speaking facts and it's okay to mass generalize, why is it wrong to just change it up?
The color of their skin is a you problem. F off and go be racist somewhere else. So she is missing the point entirely, and the user clarifies saying, who said anything about my opinions or thoughts? I sure didn't. All I did was change the category from men to black, from sex to race. That is all I did. And you still can't comprehend why I did that. It's actually hilarious. Like, you can spell it out. I don't know if she's just...
Like, this just can't even be a rage baiting, because even someone that's a rage baiting would be able to, like, fuel the flames. This is just someone who's genuinely stupid. Like, so you know how sometimes you can't tell the difference between a rage baiter and, like, a rage baiter, someone trolling, or someone who's genuinely stupid? No, you can just genuinely tell that this person's genuinely stupid.
That disingenuous. She is intentionally ignoring what people are trying to do here, or she's just that clueless. She doesn't see it. Either way, it's really embarrassing. And of course, people are now extending it to women, making statements like this, calling all women
are whores. That's not a nuanced statement. Well, that's quite strange. Well, that's why are you getting offended by that? If you're getting offended by that, doesn't that mean you're part of the problem? So you're a whore because you have a problem with women being called whores. After all, if it wasn't true, you wouldn't have any issue with it. Kafka trap moment.
And then she says, that's not a nuanced statement, so no. You just hate women at that point. And this user, with the steel chair response, says, you are one of them. Yeah, you're part of the problem, I guess. Hit dogs holler, you know what I mean? Like, this is, again, an extension of her own logic.
What is terrible? It doesn't even make any sense. Hit dogs holler. What does that even mean?
And she's triggered by it. Basically becoming a part of the problem by her own design.
And thought that shit was deep when he was 14.
We see some, what is this, dark woke? Is this the dark woke people talk about, where they can, like, make insults that are normally offensive, but they're doing it wokely? One person says all women are valueless. And she says, I mean, if you feel that way, I'm assuming you're gay, which is perfectly acceptable. So basically, this is their woke way of calling this user a homo, but then saying, oh, whoa, it's perfectly okay. Like, we understand what they're doing here, right? They're trying to make this insult, but wokely, while also making sure that everyone knows they're okay with it, while also using it as an insult. It's very hypocritical, but then again, she also called someone slow, which again is a woke way of trying to call someone retarded.
Mad black transgender alert? What?
I guess. But then, of course, she's not done. She starts quoting herself and then quoting her quotes to really make sure everyone knows her nuanced take, saying,
I hate whole of group XYZ. OMG. When I say that I hate all of group XYZ, I don't mean all. I mean some. That means, yeah, there's a specific subgroup, because all means every single one.
Free block list in the replies here, saying that I hate men is not the same as being blatantly racist. Choke.
And because of people like this, you know, everyone's just like, oh, why don't you go find a woman? Gee, I don't know. Maybe it's because I don't want to get suckered into, like, finding a woman like this. I want to be like PewDiePie, you know, I'm going to date a woman for like 7 years. If I don't find anyone if I don't find a woman by the time I'm like 28, I'm just going to give up. I mean, I've already given up, but if they don't come to me, naturally by the time I'm like 28. I have really no interest in finding somebody because PewDiePie and Martia dated for 7 whole years. So, and their shit worked out pretty good. Like, I don't want to marry somebody and then have them take half of my belongings, at the least, if not more, just because I married them. I want to know I want to go through at least 3 or 4 years of life with them together, because then at that point, I'd probably experience like the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, and figure out if we're compatible during the highest of highs and lowest of lows. Because the highs are always good, but it's always the lows that matter when it comes to dating. Because you need to know how your partner's gonna like act under pressure, if they can deal with pressure to begin with. And most, like, more than anything, though, it's just going to be, like, how they treat you while they're under pressure. Because there's plenty of people that do terrible under pressure, and they just treat everyone around them worthlessly. Why did I even start talking about that? I actually completely forgot my point. Oh, yeah, because I was saying, Vex over here is the reason why I have no interest in ever seeking out a woman. Because I never ever want to like find out this is like how they truly think and act, because again, they can probably feign it for like a year or two, but after like year 3, definitely year 4, they're not going to have that facade anymore. So maybe not 7 years like PewDiePie Martia, but at least like 4. So if I don't find the love of my life, if I'm like not dating anyone by the time I'm 31, okay, whatever. I already feel that way in general. Okay, whatever.
So once again, telling people to choke, to presumably
having kids,
lose their life.
It seems great and everything, but I gotta like focus on my own
and then they clarify
life
another
and
post
happiness
saying, I
first.
hate men. Then people ask,
instead of having to deal with like
and she says,
a terrible
I'm not
wife.
talking about my man. I said I hate men, not my man. Oh, he's one of the good ones, I guess. Did she not understand how this is applied to other groups of people based on their intrinsic characteristics they did not choose at birth? Like, it's insane.
I like my man. Is that because your man allows you to post your butthole online so you can get money from it? That's probably why you like him.
Again, she's talked about men before, and she's dating.
Because you're not even really dating one guy. You're dating like 400. You're dating one guy IRL, and you're dating like 399 online.
A white guy, and let's hope he grants her the confidence of mediocre white men. That's all I can say. But she does the classic thing. Okay, how many times have we seen this, right? You have someone who basically picks a fight with an entire gender, and when they start finding out, they start making themselves the victim. They start intentionally misrepresenting the situation, and then post a selfie for engagement and to get validation from strangers online. So they do exactly that, in quote saying, if you're mad about—
I'm not gonna lie, she looks mid. Like, she looks okay. A little sussy that she has these big eye glasses. Her head's actually a little bit small in comparison to her body, so that might be a sign of incest, just like Hassan Piker. Not a fan of that little thingy around her neck there. Those are like red flags, because that usually means that your bitch got like bipolar or something even similar to that. I mean, I think there's been more enough proof that Vex over here has something akin to bipolar. She's obviously mentally ill. And she's mentally ill in the way that you can never, that no amount of drugs will ever fix that. No one will ever be able to fix her. Seems pretty obvious there's a face filter on. I'm pretty sure that is a face filter. Let me zoom in. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a face filter that she has on too to make herself look better as well. Yeah. Like 6 out of 10, lady.
About me saying all blacks are violent, you must be black and violent, end quotes. Not understanding that this entire situation is just an application of her own logic and she doesn't like the results. And then, of course, she adds on saying, no, I'm not a racist piece of filth. It's that simple. Of course,
right.
Given her own history of being racist towards white people.
Unsolicited pics from online
But then people
prostitutes.
use the shoe on head meme from one of her recent videos, and she has an issue with that because she believes she is not doing the act of prostitution.
Right, and it seems like you got a lot of 18 plus content. You have a lot of 18 plus content that's floating around the internet.
And tells people to shut their dumb behind mouth. And of course, we know that a big part of her contents is doing adult content, right? Like that's her primary form of income.
Yeah, it's probably linked in her car.co.
That's her main thing. And it seems to be a very sensitive topic for her, where she is...
Well, it's always sensitive because... it's always sensitive because a lot of women that do quote-unquote sex work are always offended when you just tell them that's like the easy way to win in life. Because it is. You know, it is so easy to just sell your boob and your vajayjay on the internet and get like $20 a month extra, period. Even if nobody knows about you. You can probably get 4 or 5 people that are interested in you just because you're niche, you're new. No one's heard of you. And she can also get away with it because, well, she doesn't, it seems like she makes more than enough to not have to, like, work a real job. Because any real job does not like having their employees with a blue Twitch. Yeah.
Constantly promoting it and honestly
again, it's just the easy way to make money because all you're doing is literally just taking pictures of how you look. Maybe you're applying a filter on there, and filters are just making you look nicer through all this AI technology and whatnot. You know, but don't tell her that though, because then she'll probably also be bitching at you because it's not AI, it's different. No, filters are AI. How do you think they work? They're tracking your face. They are taking the data of your face to then edit it. How do you think they edit it? Do you think, oh, it's just coding? Yeah, it's coding through AI. Dumbass.
Diabolical, right? Just promoting it, trying to sell it, and getting 24 likes. Brutal. But of course, they have a history of mocking people for being broke or unable to afford her adult content, which is very ironic, and I'll show why in a second. But here's a post from only a year ago saying, the men screaming and crying in my replies about how much my content costs. How does it make you feel knowing you can't afford to even look at me? Oh, what a...
I don't care. It seems like you seem to care a lot, though, that you don't get a lot more subscriptions than you feel like you're worth. Maybe what your assets look like aren't that good.
Narcissist. That's actually insane. You didn't make $900 a week at your job, let alone in a day. Is she trying to flex $900 a week? Which is not only cringe and like...
$900 a week. $4,500 a month. I mean, yeah. That's not... Well, actually, no, wait, no. That's like average. That's basic. That's nearly average. I think average, like, people usually make is, what, around $40,000 to $50,000 a year? You know what, hold on, let's look that up. What is the average salary in the US? Let's just go with that, yeah. Approximately 64,000. My brother in Christ, you're not even making enough to meet the average salary in the United States. Basically 1,200 a week. If you make 1,200 a week, you make 63,000 a year. She's making, what is that? What is that? My brain went to like around 45,000, but something tells me that's not correct. I mean, well, it's about correct. I don't know how I got that number though. 9 times 52. Let's just do that. No, wait. Actually, yeah, 9 times 52. That works. Fuck. 9. I can't type. You can't even see this. Fuck's sake. 900 times 52. All right. Yeah. Wow, I was almost spot on. $47,000. You're bragging about making minimum wage a year. Probably minimum wage somewhere.
What? But also, for some...
Congratulations, you're making minimum wage just by selling your body. I hope you enjoy it while it lasts, because once you hit that ripe age of 35, no one's going to want to watch you, no one's going to care about you.
someone, I mean, if you're familiar with her
enjoy it
account,
while it lasts. But you know, she's probably gonna buy a bunch of Uber Eats, buy a whole bunch of Grubhub, have zero money saved up, if barely any. Yeah, actually, what I'm gonna say, not zero, but I'm gonna say barely like 20 grand, barely 20 grand, zero stock investments. And then she's gonna constantly cry about how her subscriptions are going down. Yeah, because no one wants to see your old raggedy body. When again, we can just find the newest hip, like 22-year-old.
it is a constant series of tweets, almost daily, asking for money, asking for crowdsourcing, asking for emergency.
Yeah, your life is sad if that's what you're constantly doing. I used to do that, and I realized how pathetic it was, because instead of actually making shit for people to want to give me money for, I just begged that people gave me money, which was, again, sad. The fact is that you just do better, just make more content, make more interesting content, have actual, like, interesting opinions or takes. Obviously, no one cares about your opinions or takes. People are just here for your body, and that's about it. Because who wants to hear the statement that all men are bad? But then someone reverses on you and said, okay, all insert race is bad. And you just say, you're racist. But then you immediately also go, oh, it's, you know, it's just the generalization. If you think if you get mad over it, you're part of the problem. And then again, all women are prostitutes. All women are whores. That's not true. Well, that's interesting. I'm just making a mass generalization. Wow, if you're having an issue with that, it seems like you're part of the problem.
Dreams, emergency funds. And she says that's based on a lot of her health needs, and if that's even true...
Yeah, emergency funds, probably because she's, again, not saving any money, buying Uber Eats, buying Grubhub, doesn't know how to cook, doesn't know how to save, doesn't know how to do anything, doesn't know how to invest in stocks.
Okay, fine. You can absolutely ask for money, but then don't go around flexing how much money you have and then poor shaming people who, by the way, are your customers and a lot of the problem men that you're mocking in your tweets. The irony is palpable.
If you're constantly begging for money, that's like cringe. If you like ask for money every like couple of years just because some shit went down and it cost way more than you could have ever expected, that's a bit different. Like, you know, it's case by case basis. In this case, yeah, don't give this woman any money.
Biting the hand that feeds, but she's not done with this entire topic. Another post. If you need 15 tweets to explain your nuanced post, maybe it's not nuanced, maybe it's just stupid. But basically, they try to get into this entire breakdown, and you know what? I ain't got time for this. Blah, 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 blah. All you had to say was harmful people bad, but instead you said all men, and got triggered when people applied your own logic to other categories you didn't want to see happen, right? That's all there is to it. But you know what? Hit dogs holler, as they say. But of course, you can see they don't like people farming drama. Now, of course, they're allowed to farm drama on Twitter and get into controversy every 2 seconds.
It's not.
But of course,
if you give people means to farm you, that's odd view. It's not. Farming drama for clout is weird. Cringe and harvest community of shit people can't think for themselves. Quite strange. It seems like exactly what you're doing, but go off, I guess.
They talk about VTubers and content creators who do drama.
I think we're done here. You know what? I mean, we have like another minute to go through, but I think I'm like finished with the amount of stupidity. So, chat. I say chat like as if I'm actually live. I am not. So, what do we learn today? Vex the VTuber here. They're a Cro-Magnon. They're subhuman. They literally just have no critical thinking skills whatsoever. Yeah. Is it sad? Is it sad that like people like this can actually survive in the current day and age? I think it's a little sad, but it also makes for great content. And it makes for a great time just making fun of them and pointing out their hypocrisy. And yeah, just kind of like ruining their day a little by, you know, again, making fun of them. If you liked the video, you should like, comment, subscribe on the original video linked in the description. And if you enjoyed what I had to say about it, you should like, comment, and subscribe on my video, even though, I don't know, I was using like what was I? You can, is there a lot of hyperbole? Hyperbole. Was I using a lot of hyperbole? There's a certain word for it. I don't know, I'll just use a lot of examples that involved races to basically prove my point that this woman is a Cro-Magnon. But if you enjoyed that, you know, subscribe, and I'll see you vamp cows next time I feast upon my next victim. Did you enjoy that video? Did you hate it?
Well, be sure to like, dislike, comment, and subscribe if you want to see my next wonky slosh take.